One of the first lyrics in that song is, "As the dawn rises, the future shines through." I feel like the dawn rose last night. I really do. And it did, because I was up very late. But I really felt like so much shined through last night. You know, Dante wrote this: "Remember tonight, for it is the beginning of always." And somebody said to me last night, I feel like I'm going to remember this night forever, and that this will be indelible in my mind, what this night feels like. And that felt so beautiful to hear, and I thought about that for a while, and I don't know if you're here who said it, but I thought about it for a while after that, and I thought, you know, it's interesting. Every moment is that. Every night, every day is that. Every chance we have is that thing. Last night, while it was so amazing, it was just a moment in time that we all shared, and it really is just the beginning. And I was so aware of that last night. Something happened towards the end of the night. Would you hand me that? So, come here. I believe you did this, right? So she apparently ran around and got a lot of people to sign this card for me. And she got so many people to do it that the card's not only signed, the inside of the envelope is signed. And it's just, so I sat up really late last night to read it all. And I'm shaking. Can't imagine how you feel. And she gave me this thing. It's so beautiful. It's called, you open it. It's called The Essential Peace. I know, see? Okay, good. I will hold this and carry this. It's called The Essential Peace, Can't Imagine Us Without You. And while I think, and this is so beautiful, and thank you so much for doing that. I'm taking that too. This, while I know you gave it to me, I say the same thing to you and to every single one of you. I can't imagine us without you and you. So thank you. I love you. So last night was, if you didn't get to sign it, you can sign it later. Last night was you are the missing piece. And it's really true. You know, nothing works in a vacuum. I mean, everyone is needed to come together to create this beautiful family that we have created. And a family that, for me, is important because this family is important to create the consciousness and the energy to let it expand out into the world and start to really get it, that we are one global family. When that happens, we'll stop seeing some of the things we're seeing way too often in the news these days. Meister Eckhart wrote, "And suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings." Trust the magic of beginnings. When I was driving over here this morning, I did go to bed very late last night because we stayed at the hotel, and a lot of people stayed at the hotel, so there was an after party. And I finally was the only one that left. I said, I got to go to bed. But they kept dragging me back. Dragging me back. And what I realized was, you know, as I was going through my talk this morning when I woke up, trusting in the magic of new beginnings. So I'm driving over here. I hadn't seen the wall yet. And I had questions about it, and I was like, all right, everyone's going to see this. I haven't had a chance to really approve it. And, but I have to just trust that whatever's happening. And I was late. This is the first time ever in my entire ministerial career where I wasn't at rehearsal, controlling it. And apparently Barbara did a brilliant job, and everybody did an amazing job because I walked in and everything was done, including this wall. And you know, when you trust, when you absolutely trust, when you say, you know what? Trust is who I am. It's not something I have to do. It's innate. I just have to trust. It's just mine to do. Things like this show up. When you trust other people, when you trust your family, your friends, when you trust, and I don't mean blind trust, just to be clear. I mean a spiritual trust that loves only, forgives everything, and remembers who you are and remembers who they are. And be smart about it. I know the people in my life who are living at this level. I know the ones that are living at this level. I know the ones that are still struggling to live at a level of the relative that sometimes gets caught up in conflicts. You knowing who you are doesn't mean you have to forget everything you know. It means you have to know more and remember more and then relate to the world from what you know. So, lyric, finally the sun came up and I'm dancing in its embrace, right? Or its grace. Which is it?
It's rays.
In its what?
Rays.
Oh, it's rays. I like my lyric. Just kidding. Finally the sun came out and I'm dancing in its rays. I get it. Oh, that's great. Okay. But its rays is also its race. Not race, grace. And yeah, it's embrace. It's all of that. Great. So last night there were a couple of images I wanted to bring forth because you might not have seen these images. So last night I was standing with Brad, though. Was it Brad? Who else was standing with us? Nick, Brad, and I, because everybody was doing YMCA. You know that song, YMCA? Yeah. So everyone was doing, but there had to have been at least 100, 150 people standing on the dance floor doing this with all of their backs to us, and the three of us were just standing there, and we were just like, wow. And someone came up to me and said, I can't believe you're singing that. You're not dancing to that. I went, it's too gay for me. But it was so beautiful as I'm standing with Brad and Nick. Yeah. So, but the image of all these people coming together in oneness, who knew that song was so universal, right? So coming together in oneness, it really moved me. It moved all three of us. It was like, could you have imagined this a year ago? I couldn't have imagined this a year ago. And that's the thing about trust. I don't have to have imagined this a year ago. I have to have imagined a year ago that thing that is God working through me will always move through me, always to my highest and best, will always bring me where I am best used. And that's true for all of us. So the truth is, you're all here today, which means you are being brought here to be best used, to use who you are at the highest level possible. So the other moment last night was we have a member of our congregation who is struggling with Alzheimer's. And he was at the gala last night. And there was a moment when I looked across the room and everyone had started dancing around him and then leaning into him until it was just this one huge circle, all connected. And I had gone over and joined it. And it was so beautiful because I landed in a place in the circle where Bob's eyes were right on me, and he just stared at me the whole time, smiling. Wow, that was a profoundly beautiful moment. That moment is inherent in each of us. We can walk this earth feeling that, knowing that, remembering the embrace of everyone that loves us, and then letting that go ripple out even into the more that love us and that we can love. And as Bob was leaving last night, he said, I'm so glad I came. He said, this has to have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life. And Bob won the award last night for the Open at the Top award for all of the work he's done for our center all these years. So I really want you to think about how much do you trust that what's behind everything is really doing perfect work. Yes, you are the vessel. Yes, you are the tool. Yes, you do the work. But you are only allowing it to come through you. When we trust and let go and surrender to that, life changes. Life changes drastically. And maybe I'll look back on this and think I wasn't crazy to walk a path I couldn't see. Can you, Mark? Are you here, Mark? Could you guys bring that up for me? So, sometimes it feels crazy, doesn't it? how many people here have ever felt crazy? like walking a path that you couldn't see or couldn't understand and just said, I'm just going to do this. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to do this. Thank you. I agree. Yeah, you're like, me. Okay, put that right there, and I will move this. So the title of our gala was You Are a Piece of the Puzzle. Thank you, Jim. Oh, this is one of our other conscious commitment winners. Look, he's pulling away. Don't you feel good up here? No. Oh my God, I tried to stop him and he's pulling me. I was like, don't you feel good up here? He went, no. So I know, right? You'll be singing next week. So you are the piece of the puzzle. So first thing I want to do is this. If you were on the committee that put this gala together, please stand. Anyone who worked on this committee that put this gala together. Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I'm gonna need one more round of applause, 2 more rounds of applause. So Sandy Palmer, if you could stand. Sandy was one of the 2 chairwomen, and I want to give each of the women their own thank you. And last but not least, the woman who I called yesterday while she was making 200 chocolate puzzle pieces to put, and then the woman that also sat up till 4:30 in the morning cutting this puzzle with Lacey, I know, but doing this puzzle, which was their idea, although they say it's mine, was their idea. This woman has been with me through the entire course of my ministry. She is the director of operations of this church, and she really is the director of operations. She works tirelessly and is at my beck and call whenever I need an answer. Her husband was the director of operations. We call him director of operations emeritus because he did it for 8 years. So I want to give another round of applause and a thank you to Marcy Welland. So anyway, oh, and wait, where's my husband? He's out still working with all those pieces. Yeah, okay. When you see him, just thank him too. He just did not stop yesterday. He said to me, if I go to one gala and eat a dinner, life will be better. Yeah. So here we go. So trust. Behind this, you can see, first of all, there are 3 pieces missing. That's number 1. So 3 of you, or 3 people home in bed. Yeah, Becky's like, I did it. Mine's up there. Okay, 3 people forgot to put their pieces on here, but it's great because it's really helped me make my point. So you are a piece of the puzzle. What happens when your piece doesn't fit in and make the whole? It doesn't make it less than, because guess what? Behind that is sticky. Behind that is actually the oneness, the allness from which it all comes. So even if I pulled all these pieces off, you'd see the exact same thing. Untouched, unbroken, unshattered. All you're doing is adding your personality. And what I loved that they did, a la Wizard of Oz, you are adding your color, because the picture behind it is in black and white. So you are adding your color, your personality to everything you do, every relationship you take, every challenge you make, every idea you decide to move on. You are bringing your color, your personality. You know, there's no 2 people alike. I teach personality in our classes, and I love when I get to personality, because people are like, you know, our big teaching circle, they're like, is it in the top or is it in the bottom? My answer is yes. Because we look at personality as that thing that you become. You know, you are this thing, this fun, charismatic, charming, I'm talking about me, charming, talented person. That's the personality you brought out into the world. But that's not what personality is. That's the result of personality. Your personality is the every choice you make, every decision you make, every idea you have, every thought that you grab onto and say, I'm going to do that. That's your personality. That's what constantly moves and shifts your personality. Your personality is constantly evolving. I'm here to tell you, trust that you are not stuck with any part of your personality that you don't like. If you hear yourself saying something like, I'm an introvert, but you don't want to be an introvert, you're not an introvert. You've just gotten stuck in some part of your personality that you've decided is running you. That's what you have to trust in. Trust that you can decide whatever you want to decide. Someone asked me recently about being an introvert and an extrovert. They said, you're an extrovert, right? And I said, you know what? Funny you should say that. I am an extrovert in some moments. But there are many moments in my life I just want to be alone. And I want to just not be in the big hole. I want to just stay here in intimate mind. I love meditative moments in life. So I don't identify as an extrovert or an introvert or a vert of any type. I identify as that life force that moves through me and gives me the opportunity to just pick what I want to be at any given moment. How would you like to live your life from that perspective? Okay, in order to do that, you have to trust. You have to absolutely trust that that's true and that you are not, while you are a piece of the puzzle, really, you're this whole puzzle. You are the entire picture in the puzzle, not the piece of the puzzle in the picture. You're all of it. And you can decide which one you want. And this is going to be outside later. Please, if you remember which piece is yours, just put your initials on it, because we're going to keep this. Some people have already started to do that. So Eckhart Tolle said this: when you become uncomfortable with certainty, when you become comfortable with uncertainty, infinite possibilities open up in your life. When you become comfortable with uncertainty, oneness, uncertainty, it's all the same thing. I don't know where we're going to be a year from now, but I trust in it. I trust it's going to be great and even greater. And I can be okay with the uncertainty. Can you? Can you trust in the uncertainty? Trust that whatever it is, it's going to grow you. It's going to make you even more amazing than you are today. The sun came out, and I'll never be the same. Trust. Khalil Gibran said this: trust in dreams, for in them is hidden the gateway of eternity. So I want to leave you today with this. There are dreams inside of you that you have not even recognized yet. There are things inside of you that are just waiting for you to say yes. And I believe what Khalil Gibran says, it is the gateway to eternity. There is that in you that is so much more than you could ever imagine. Have you ever touched it? Have you ever just hit that one moment you're sitting there and you're going, there's just so much. There's so much more for me to be, to do. We get kind of caught up in that, now how do I do it? Don't worry about how you do it. Trust that if you acknowledge and accept the dream that you are, if you trust that what's behind your peace, your place in this universe, if you trust that it is always going to move you around and plug you into the exact place that nestles you perfectly into the giant picture of life, if you trust and really know that what's behind this is moving you into the highest expression of yourself where you can be used, if you trust that, then trust me, you will live a life of eternal joy. As Thomas Troward said, our only purpose here is to enjoy life. Keep that first and foremost in your mind. Am I enjoying my life? If I am, I'm on the right path. If I'm not, oh my God, that's perfect. If I'm not, I may have fallen off the picture. And it is time for me to plug myself right back in and remember who I am. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.